Yes, folks, you read that title right. This time we are reviewing Master Grade Katoki version Ball. So, I'm going to start this one actually with doing a bit of an unboxing, seeing what we have in here. So, start by opening this up. Yeah, nice booklet here. I mean, seriously, look at the freaking internal frame details on that. I cannot wait to dig into this thing. Now, in case any of you are wondering, well, what the heck's the big deal? This is just the hilarity of this. Basically, you see here, Ver.Ka, so that's Hajime Katoki version. Hajime Katoki does very detailed mecha designs, and this is usually for, you know, extra detailed versions of, you know, really iconic kits. This one, this is basically like if we had, I don't know, a ridiculously detailed generic TIE fighter or stormtrooper model, but with like redesigned tweaks. It's that freaking, like, alright. So yeah, you can see like all the little panel lines in here they got. Nice, I don't know how well it's coming up here, but two-tone plastic in the, actually multicolored plastic on the same sprue. Bandai's been doing this a lot recently, which simplifies things a bit. And as you can see here, the internal frame for the main cockpit actually has your basic part and these, like, support structures here. Oh, and, actual wire for the manipulator claw. Of course, got your you know, decals, display base, all the odds and ends, and a loose sprue here of the gray plastic bits, mostly for the manipulator arm and whatnot. So this should be a pretty interesting kit. So stay tuned. We'll review the finished product right now. Alright, now of course this is a master grade, so we'll be starting with the internal frame here. As you can see here, comes with this, you know, nice little stand. But yeah, a lot of detail in here. Of course, has these little thrusters. Move each of those independently up and down. Have your cockpit here. There we go. We have some more, you know, decals and stickers all over the place. We have this nice little separate piece of plastic in here for the insert that holds the side camera, so it gives it a nice two-tone effect. Got your thrusters here. As always, put a little yellow in there, as I like to do. This time, since they have these little, like, nozzles inside the thruster bell, I decided to just paint the thruster bell yellow. Then we have the actual housing. Now, I'm going to take one of these off here, just to show. There's actually detail inside there, so that's kind of the length they went to this stuff. Because, you know, something that, you know, you and maybe someone else will ever see. Speaking of which, this bottom thruster here, well, first of all, I can remove it and you can see, you know, details within the housing. But also, they actually detailed the engine itself, which is nice, and of course that, you know, moves around like that. Yeah, just, you know, a lot of really nice detail. Now moving on to the different parts and whatnot. That's not all the internal frame. We actually have these little bits that go on the side here. Gonna take this opportunity to talk about the sticker and decal application. This is, you know, a word of warning to people considering this who maybe don't usually do a lot of that stuff. There are a metric crap ton of stickers and decals, almost all of which will need to be trimmed, and they will have you putting them on surfaces like this. Which, if you know what you're doing, isn't too hard, but it's still, like, time-consuming and tedious, so just be aware that there is a lot of that. But anyway, yeah, so these just snap on like that, which add, you know, multiple layers of detail on the internal frame itself. Yeah, so it's basically these support struts all over here. So yeah, moving on. So we're going to start with the bottom and work our way up here. These are the arm mounts, like this. Not too much to talk about here, although I like they actually detailed that. So again, surprising amount of decals and stickers. Then you have, again, the bit that attaches it, not much there. However, one thing I love about this kit, the amount of detail they put on the inside of the armor. Now, I don't know how well the camera's picking this up here. One thing I do like to do is I took a Gundam marker, traced these like I would panel lines, and then I smudged them with my thumb so as to not only give the lines a soft, subtle edge, but also to give the inside a bit more of a, you know, a grimy look. Now, you can, of course, get that stuff to come clean, but I intentionally left it, and once you let that stuff set, it's pretty well not going anywhere. Then we have the control arms. I'll go into a little more detail on these in a sec, but these are really nice. Got actual bits of wire here, like I said earlier, and you know, that actually actuates with that. Have your secondary arm on this, which is, I believe, unique to this version of the kit. Don't quote me on that, though I could be wrong. And for the joint, they actually have these like rubber gaskets here, or gussets, or whatever you want to call them in this case. And actually a piece of metal for the piston shaft. So, you know, again, very nice, a lot of detail, and again, a surprising number of stickers going on this part. Then we have the side panels, one of the most prominent things, and of course, covered all over with very nice decals. All the decals on this kit are, dry transfer, and everything else is just a sticker. I used a bit of, what the heck is that stuff? Yeah, Microscale Industries Micro Flat for that. So, and again, a lot of nice detail on the inside here. I did this with all the armor bits. And here's the other one. Then we have the cowling for the thrusters. I'm usually not much for like significant asymmetry with decals, but I like how they did it here. Now, surprisingly, this part had a ton of decals, and a lot of them in places where it's kind of annoying to get them on, or to get them on without, you know, while having to be careful not to damage others, but I got them. And again, lots and lots of crazy detail on the inside there. Like that. There we go. And we have the top bit. Again, not much going on here. Have your Earth Federation Space Force logo there, little warnings by the where the thrusters come out. And again, tons and tons of detail on the inside. We have the main hatch here. A couple of stickers here I decided not to use just because I'm like, F that, because there are some like lines that go on the inside of this. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. But yeah, you have, you know, again, more interior detail, and this like indented trestle bit here. I actually really like that detail. Then we have the main gun. This is, I believe, a 180mm cannon. We have this, as you can see, this darker plastic mount that actually clamps onto it in addition to this. Ton of stickers on this bit, but no dry transfer decals on this, similar to the arms. Got these little... I'm not sure if those are guards for it, or if those are for, you know, cranes to attach to when it be, you know, getting serviced, but either way, you of course have your port for the gun, so presumably this works similar to a recoilless rifle, which actually I suppose in space would make sense. And this, which presumably is the magazine, actually detaches, so you get, again, more hidden detail. Action is smooth. Only thing I don't like is when you actually have this in the ball, because this is obviously a two-piece here, it likes to twist a little bit, like these two parts like to twist separate from each other, so just, you know, when you're messing with it, don't, you know, go yanking it all crazy, just, you know, slowly turn it and it'll be fine. And lastly, just the other miscellaneous panels. There's tons and tons of small armor panels here. It's funny, actually, I have a master grade GP03, and I was thinking to myself, like, you know, per body size, this is actually more complicated in terms of the armor panels. So, but yeah, get on to articulation then. So, start with the arms. Well, first of all, here, I'll just, yeah, by the way, removing these, if anyone's ever, you know, carved up a chicken or a turkey, kind of similar to, you know, taking a leg off, you just pop, and actually feels quite similar because of this. A bit of a gruesome detail there, but yeah. So, we have, of course, the claws move independently, and they can go about that far. Got a bit of that going on. So because of this here, doesn't have, you know, can't move all the way up, but the thing's not designed to, so if anything, that's faithful to its design. This, of course, can twist 360 degrees. Pivot here, and you have your secondary arm, which can be sort of folded away like that. And of course, you know, if it has to carry any kind of large load, it just, you know, does one of these, so we can clamp onto large, you know, boxy things. Again, you know, it's originally designed as like a loader worker, you know, robot in space. It was kind of just later drafted into service and had a giant cannon strapped to it. And of course, this whole thing can move independently of that. And same deal with this, you know, moves out to here, can fold up like that, 360 degree rotation. So yeah, pretty good with that. Now, because this is a ball, there ain't going to be much we're going to talk about in terms of articulation. The joint here, yeah, that's about where it stops, so it's just, you know, but I love that that gusset here. Let's see then, the cannon, move about like that, of course, rotate 360 degrees. Then you have your cockpit. Now, the cockpit hatch is a little annoying, to be honest, because you actually have to go in from the side, then from the bottom. You need fingernails to open this thing. So, there we go. So this goes out, as you can see there. Then flip it up, and there's our pilot. And like that. So yeah, as you can see, as you'd expect from a Katoki version, covered head to toe. Also like this little detail here for like, if it's mounted on a crane or something, holding it in place while it's being serviced. Again, your little thrusters here can move up and down in there, poking out. This guy, like I said, can move, or can bend a little bit. Also, if you take this out, I just love the combined detail there of like all the different parts. Kind of gives it a purpose to having this thing removable. And these, well, as you saw, they're on a little arm thing here, and of course these can bend. Pretty much the only thing stopping these from bending further than they do is the housing, but again, that's kind of, accurate to the original, so that's how they're intended to bend. And of course you can do that. You could even probably, just get some minor reverse thrust going there. Other details. Finish is great, like I said, especially if you're willing to deal with the bajillion stickers and decals all over this thing. It, ends up, you really cannot argue at all with how this thing looks. Fit. These side armor bits, I have to be honest, don't fit as well as they could. They stick out a little bit there, a little finicky around here. But, I mean, honestly, if that's the worst I can say of it, solid little kit. Also, other details I didn't talk about. These little thrusters here, there's one in front, one in back, just little, like, minor maneuvering thrusters got two here. And again, this time I just painted the, let's see how well you can see that. Yeah, the little thrust nozzle there, yellow, so gives it a nice little two-tone effect. Did the same with the front one, and don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but did that with these two. So this just got a little ring of yellow around the thrust nozzle. So, yeah, that is the Master Grade Ver.Ka ball. Great kit. Would recommend. Just, if you want to get it all looking like it should, just, be prepared, like I said, deal with a million decals. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you for watching. Take care.